Hello friends, I am Mayank Mohanka, partner in Messrs SM Mohanka and Associates, founder director in Messrs Taxaram India Private Limited, and an author with Taxman Publications. Well, yes friends, faceless assessments have become a reality now. Our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji have launched a taxation platform for honoring the honest, and the thrust of this platform is on three important dimensions, that is faceless assessments, faceless appeals, and the taxpayers charter. In spite of much hype and hoopla surrounding this new taxation platform, ironically, the practicalities and nuances of the new faceless assessment scheme 2019 have somehow been ignored and overlooked by the tax circles and the taxpayers. So in my today's session, I am taking up these practicalities and nuances of the new scheme of faceless assessment 2019. Today we will be discussing that what are faceless assessments, what all assessments are covered by this new scheme, what all assessments are not being covered by this new scheme, and how this new scheme is different from the old e-assessment scheme 2019, and other practical nitty-gritties of the scheme. I will also be giving a brief overview of my new book Faceless Assessments Ready Reckoner with real-time case studies with Taxman Publications. So friends, what are faceless assessments? As the name suggests, in these assessments, the assessees will not be able to see the faces of their assessing officers, and these assessments will not be conducted by the jurisdictional assessing officers of the assessees, but will be conducted by a group of officers constituting the National E-Assessment Center, Regional E-Assessment Center, and various functional units like verification unit, technical unit, and review units. In these faceless assessments, the notices, the scrutiny notices under section 143(2) or 142(1) or for that matter 148(1) will be issued by National E-Assessment Center and not by the jurisdictional assessing officers. And all the correspondences, submissions between the assessee and the income tax department will be via electronic mode only, and not by physical interface or by physical visits to the departments. The assessees will be required to file their online e-submissions through their registered e-filing accounts in the e-filing portal of the income tax department, and they will be they will be able to submit all their documents, all their supportings through this online e-filing portal only, through the e-proceedings tab in the e-filing portal, and they will not be entertained physically by any of the income tax department's authority. In this, firstly, a scrutiny notice under section 143(2) will be issued by National E-Assessment Center and will be uploaded in the registered e-filing account of the assessee. The assessee can see this notice in its registered filing account, can retrieve and download this notice. The assessee is required to respond to this notice within 15 days of the receipt of the same notice. And as I have already discussed, that all such e-responses have to be uploaded online only via the e-proceedings tab. Along all the supporting documents, records will also be required to be uploaded via the downloads via the attachments facility in the e-submission e-proceedings tab. After, the NEAC will receive such e-responses of the assessee, and if it considers necessary, it will assign the case to a particular assessment unit in any regional e-assessment center based on random allocation system. So once the case is being assigned to an assessment unit in the reassessment center, that particular unit, based upon the records available with it, based upon the inputs from the assessees, may ask for further requisitions, further information from the assessee, and in that case NEAC will issue a scrutiny questionnaire under section 142(1) to the assessee. But one thing is very important here, that all the communication between the assessee and the income tax department will be through NEAC only, National E-Assessment Center, and the assessment unit in the regional E-Assessment Center conducting the assessments will not communicate directly with the assessee. Further, if the assessment unit finds it necessary to take the assistance from verification unit or technical unit or valuation unit, it will ask the NEAC to do so, and NEAC, if it feels appropriate, will ensure such assistance by these units. So now the assessments will be conducted by multi-layer and multifaceted group of officers in various various units in the income tax department. Friends, now coming to after the taking cognizance of all the responses, e-responses of the assessees, the assessment unit will prepare a draft assessment order first. This is important because in the traditional assessments there was no provision for preparing any draft assessment order, but in the faceless assessment scheme, firstly a draft assessment order has to be prepared by the assessment unit in the regional e-assessment center, and then NEAC will upload this draft assessment order in the registered e-filing account of the assessee. If any additions or disallowances have been proposed in the draft assessment order, then the NEAC will issue a show cause notice to the assessee to file its reply in response to the draft assessment order, and the assessees are required to file their e-submissions concerning their objections on the said disallowances or additions proposed in the draft assessment order. Friends, the assessees may also ask for a personal hearing via video telephony or video conference, and the Chief Commissioner or the Director General of the Regional E-Assessment Center may approve this request of the assessee of personal hearing via video telephony if he feels necessary, if he feels that the case falls in the notified cases as notified by CBDT. However, the circumstances and the cases where this request of assessee for personal hearing via video telephony may be approved by REAC are yet to be notified by CBDT. So, if REAC, the Chief Commissioner REAC, approves the request of the assessee for this personal hearing, then on the specified date and time, the assessee can discuss verbally with the officers of the assessment units who have conducted this assessment, and can present his side of the facts, his legal precedents which he wished to rely upon. So an opportunity of being heard is being provided by way of this video telephony only. However, no physical visits to any of the officers is allowed now. So based upon these inputs and e-submissions of the assessee, the assessment unit will prepare a revised draft assessment order. Friends, it is to be noted here that in the new faceless assessment scheme, the revised draft assessment order has to be prepared by a new regional e-assessment center unit, which will also be selected on random allocation system. In the old e-assessment scheme 2019, even the revised draft assessment order was being prepared by the same original assessment unit in the regional e-assessment center, who have prepared the original draft assessment order. But in this new faceless assessment scheme, this important amendment has been brought about, wherein after the if any modification is being proposed, and after taking cognizance of the assessee's e-submissions, and in fact also the NEAC can refer the case to a review unit also. Review unit will review the order, draft assessment order. So based upon the recommendations of the review unit and based upon the e-submissions of the assessees and observations in the personal hearing via video telephony, if the NEAC so feels, then it can again assign the case to another second reassessment unit in another geographical location based on random allocation system. So this entire process will go several rounds unless the final assessment order is being passed by the assessment unit and it is being accepted by the assessee. Finally, the final assessment order, as being passed by the assessee by the regional assessment unit, will be uploaded by NEAC in the registered e-filing account of the assessee, and The case will then be finally transferred to the jurisdictional assessing officer for recovery of demand, if any purposes, and for levy of penalty also. Friends, now what are the major differences between the old e-assessment scheme and the new faceless assessment scheme? As I have already discussed, that the coverage has been extended to a greater extent. In the old e-assessment scheme, only 58,000 odd cases were being covered of the regular assessment for assessment year 18-19. But now in this new scheme, all the regular assessment cases under section 143.3, which are currently 2 lakhs in number, have been brought in under the new faceless assessment scheme. In addition, all pending income escaping assessments under section 147 have also been brought under the new faceless assessment scheme. And further, the assessing authorities have also been empowered to conduct ex parte or best judgment assessments under section 144 in case of failure of the assessees to furnish their replies within the stipulated times, and in case of their non-cooperation during the assessment proceedings. So these best judgment assessments have also been brought within the purview of the new faceless assessment scheme with effect from 13th of August 2020. Secondly, in the old e-assessment scheme, by virtue of the scheme, all the assessees were having an inherent right of asking for a personal hearing and obtaining the same via video telephony. But in the new scheme, it has been provided this right of personal hearing via video telephony has been made conditional, meaning thereby that the REAC, the Chief Commissioner of REAC may approve this request of the assessee of personal hearing via video telephony if he feels that the case falls in the notified cases as notified by CBDT. However, these cases are yet to be notified by CBDT. Another important distinction between the old e-assessment scheme and the new faceless assessment scheme is the power to transfer cases to the jurisdictional assessing officers. In the old scheme, this power to transfer cases to the jurisdictional assessing officer rests with NEAC, National E-Assessment Center. But in the new scheme, this NEAC can authorize the transfer of the cases to the jurisdictional assessing officers only after getting the prior approval of the CBDT. Another point of distinction is the mode of communication between the verification unit and the assessee. In the old scheme, all the communications between all the agencies, including verification units, between the assessee and the verification unit was to be done exclusively through electronic mode only. However, in the new scheme, an exception has been provided to this basic rule, that whereas the verification unit, the communication between the verification unit in case of any inquiry being conducted by the verification unit and the assessee, the mode, it has been specified that the mode will not be electronic. However, it is yet to be notified that what exactly will be the mode, whether it will be the whether physical attendance of the assessee will be required or not. This needs further clarification. So friends, this was all about differences between the new faceless assessment scheme and the old e-assessment scheme. Now coming to some very important practicalities of these faceless assessment schemes. Friends, it is very in my personal opinion, some issues are very intricate and very crucial, but still require some further clarification from CBDT. One such issue is that how will the revisionary powers of under section 263 will be exercised by the CIT. In CBDT notification, it has been mentioned that the statutory functions under section 263 and 264 will be done by field formations under the controlling cadre of Principal Chief Commissioner of Income Tax. However, the actual composition of these field formations is yet to be clarified by CBDT. And in my personal opinion, if any particular assessment conducted under faceless assessment is subject to the final scrutiny, is amenable to be rectified or revised by CIT or field formations outside this NEAC and REAC hierarchy, then the very purpose of these faceless assessments will get defeated. So a suitable clarification is desirable from CBDT in this regards. Secondly, in my personal opinion, the right of personal hearing via video telephony, as was there in the old assessment scheme, should be restored in this new scheme, so as to provide suitable opportunity of being heard to the assessee. Agreed that the assessee should not be allowed physical attendance, physical visits to the departments, but nonetheless, physical personal hearings via video telephony can very much be provided in the new scheme also, so as to fulfill the principle of natural justice. Friends, all these nitty-gritties and practicalities have been discussed in detail in my new book, Faceless Assessments Ready Reckoner, with real-time case studies, and it has been published by Taxman Publications. And this book contains 20 chapters, and it is a very comprehensive Ready Reckoner book on this new scheme of faceless assessments. And I am very confident that this book will serve as a ready referencer and will prove to be practically very useful for all the taxpayers and the tax professionals in efficiently and effectively carrying out of their faceless assessments. And there is no, friends, we need to understand that now these faceless assessments have become a reality, and we have to live with this reality, and there is no escape from these faceless assessments. So sooner or later we all have to get ourselves adapt to this new faceless regime. And I am 100% confident that my new book, Faceless Assessment Ready Reckoner, with Taxman Publications,